Dear students, welcome to the very last video from my side for this whole course. And trust me, this is going to be a very short one. We are just going to learn two simple topics. Till now, we have discussed different types of performance appraisal techniques, and we have seen what are the different types of errors that can occur when doing performance appraisal. Now, in this video, we are going to first learn about appraisal interviews. Again, appraisal interviews. Now, what do we mean by this term? Let's take a look. Now, obviously, we understand that this is some kind of an interview. Now, before I explain the purpose of this interview, let me tell you this. This is not a job interview or a selection interview. Get this very clear. Again, this is not a job interview or an interview that we sit for when we are applying for jobs. All right? This is a different kind of interview. When does this take place? At the end of the year, when your boss or the HR manager measures your performance and decides whether to promote you or not to promote you, at that time, they are going to ask you to sit for an interview with them. Now, what is the purpose of that interview? It is very simple. In that interview, your boss or your supervisor or the HR manager is going to discuss your whole year's performance with you and then explain the scores that you achieved in the appraisal process, at the same time give you some feedback, and finally ask for your opinion about the appraisal process. That is the whole purpose of the interview. Again, please get this point. This is not a job interview or a selection interview. It is an interview where your supervisor or boss discusses about your performance scores and explains the reason of giving that score. Now let's take a look at the formal definition. Here it is. The performance appraisal interview provides the employee with a chance to defend their performance evaluation and also gives the managers a chance to explain what they think about the employee's performance. So as I just said, that in this interview, your boss or supervisor or your HR manager explains the performance score that you have got and also at the same time may ask you about your opinion or about the performance evaluation. So that's why it is called a performance appraisal interview, because the interview's main purpose is to explain the performance appraisal process. It is as simple as that. So what are the different outcomes that can happen in a performance appraisal interview? I mean, even if I don't explain these outcomes, it's self-explanatory. However, let's take a look. So the first type or the first outcome of an appraisal interview can be this: satisfactory and promotable. So after that interview, the HR manager or the boss is going to inform them that yes, you are going to be promoted. Now this one is the easiest to conduct, right? Because everyone is happy, because someone is getting promoted. Now the second outcome of an interview can be this: satisfactory but not promotable. So again, even though the performance of the employee is satisfactory at the moment, that person is not promotable right now. Why? Because maybe there are no opportunities at the company right at this moment. Or maybe the company is not doing well financially for this year, just as it is happening right now due to the coronavirus issue. So because of lack of opportunities in the company, even though the employee did well, promotion cannot be given out this time. So what can we do here? Maybe the company may decide that yes, even if we cannot give the promotion right now, we can provide some other incentives to maintain current performance. Otherwise, the employee will be really demotivated. Now, what can be the next outcome here? Here it is: unsatisfactory but correctable. So even though the employee is not doing well right now and the performance is unsatisfactory, that person's performance is correctable. So maybe there is a minor performance gap, or maybe that person needs some training. So in these cases, the company needs to lay out an action plan for that employee. So they need to find out why is the performance unsatisfactory and what can be done to improve that minor performance gap. So maybe provide training or maybe provide motivation. Now the last outcome can be this: unsatisfactory and not correctable. So the employee's current performance is unsatisfactory, and as an HR manager, you know that the employee is not willing to change the behavior or the performance gap that is currently existing. So these types of interview are the hardest to conduct, because in such cases, the HR manager might have to fire that employee because that employee is not willing to change the performance level. And that is going to be harmful for the company in the long run. So yes, these are the different types of outcomes that we can have from an appraisal interview. So we are done with appraisal interviews. Now the very last topic of this chapter, and that topic is very easy. So here it goes. We are going to learn how to provide feedback to employees in general. Now, as HR managers, very frequently we might have to provide feedback to employees. Now, there is a generic rule or way of providing feedback in a constructive way. And this way is especially applicable in the case of providing negative feedback to employees. Now, in the next slide, I have the explanation. And trust me, the moment you see the slide, it will be crystal clear to you. So you may not need any explanation for this topic, right? So here goes the picture. I know many of you are missing this food, right? So this burger is the best representation of providing a feedback. And that's why this topic is often explained as a feedback burger method. What happens here? So according to this burger, when we have to provide a negative feedback to someone, the best way to follow is this. At the very first moment, we have to say something positive to that employee. And after that, we provide the constructive criticism or the main negative feedback. And after we are done, we finish off by again saying something positive. That is an effective method of providing a constructive criticism. Why is it effective? Let me explain it this way. Say you are not going to follow this. You have planned that you are going to say only this negative word to him. Now what will happen? Now if you start the feedback process by saying something very negative to a person, that person might get offended and might behave rude, right? That is not a very effective way of providing a negative feedback to somebody. So rather what we can do is, when we meet someone first, the first thing we can do is to say something positive to that person that makes that person really happy. Then after that we provide the constructive feedback or the constructive criticism, and then we finally finish off by saying something positive again, so that that employee does not leave with a negative impression on me or the feedback provider. And trust me, you can apply this method successfully not only in performance appraisal interviews or providing performance feedback. Rather, this method should be successfully applied in providing any type of constructive criticism to anyone, even in case of your friends. This method really works. I know this is really simple to understand, but this is sort of an art to practice. Trust me, the more you practice this method, you will get better at this. So yes, we are done with the feedback burger. So finally, I'm done with all the lecture contents of today. And as I said earlier, this is the very last class that is going to be conducted by me in this whole course in the summer semester. Now, throughout the course, till now, I, along with my Shamis, has tried my best to deliver the content in such a way so that it's easy to understand for you and at the same time relatable to your real life experience. Now, if you have any type of confusions regarding any of the chapters, please feel free to contact me anytime. And as I said earlier, I'm always going to be available for you to address any type of problems that you have, be it your student life, be it your professional life, or be it your personal life. You can reach out to me anytime, anywhere, through any media. All right? So my part is done here. I would like to thank all of you for going through the lectures with such patience and endurance. I know doing the online semester the first time is very difficult, but even then you did it. You made it this far, and I'm sure you are going to make it till the end of the semester with flying colors. So best of luck to all of you. This is JSH signing off. Cheers.